What's up, YouTube? This your boy, Big Boy Facts, Johnny TV, and tonight I'm gonna give you guys my WWE Smackdown review on highlights. So you guys are new, hit that like button, helps you out to it. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you guys are new to the channel. Also, tap the notification bell every time I premiere a brand new video. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. Let's talk about SmackDown tonight. SmackDown was a 2 out of 10, but the show was awful. Tonight's WWE Smackdown on Fox opens with a look back at what happened last week with WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. We also see how Adam Pearce picked Seth Rollins to challenge Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. We're live from CHI Healthy Center in Omaha, Nebraska, as Michael Cole welcomes us to SmackDown on Fox. He joins at ringside by Pac-Man Alfie, and they hype Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble and their face-offs tonight's show. Michael Cole says they are excited to welcome WWE Hall of Famer Lita on tonight's show, her first Blue Brand appearance in almost 20 years. We go right to the ring, and out comes SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. WWE NXT SmackDown. Urban does the introductions. Michael Cole looks back at last week's street fight win over the New Day says Xavier Woods is out of action indefinitely due to a claimed muscle injury suffered during the bout. The Usos takes the mic and gives props to the New Day, saying they're the one team to always take the Usos to the limit. But they go on about letting everyone know that that they are the best tag team. They are on hashtag #1. The grind doesn't stop, and they bring up assistance WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins. They also say WWE officials are lining up their opponents, and they're ready to knock them down. A fatal four-way has booked to determine their next challengers. They introduce the participating tag teams with a special introductions from each team. Out first, the Lost Authorities, Angel Garza and Humberto, followed by Cesaro and Mansoor, Ginger Mahal and Shanky, and Outlast is Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders. The Usos joke about the rules from the match, and the most important rule is the Usos are #1. They suddenly deliver a super kick, Mansoor and Eric, to kick the action. A big brawl breaks out between the four teams to begin the match. As we go to commercial, we get the #1 contenders fatal four-way match: the Viking Raiders versus Los Authorities, Cesaro and Mansoor versus Ginger Mahal and Shanky. This was decent fatal four-way. Back from the break, and the fatal four-way was underway. The winners will become the new #1 contenders to the Usos, to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, who are on commentator now. Mansoor and Humberto go at it. Mansoor delivers 2 atomic drops and sends Humberto to the floor. He comes back in and leaps off the top, but gets caught with a third inverted atomic drop. Cesaro tags in, and they double team Humberto now. Eric tags in and clears Cesaro and Mansoor, then face off with Angel Garza, who snatches his pants off, but Eric stares him down. Shanky is legal now as Angel Garza comes out. Shanky goes to work on Eric, taking him to the corner. Ginger Mahal tags in, and they double team Eric as Ginger takes over. Shanky tags back in and delivers a big boot and elbow to Eric in the corner. Ginger Mahal right back in to take over. Ivar and Shanky are legal now. Ivar knocks Lost Authorities off the apron and on those on Shanky. Ivar knocks Cesaro and Mansoor off the apron, but Shanky works him over in the corner. Ivar starts Shanky and tags in Eric for a double team to Shanky. Eric lifts Ivar and slams him onto Shanky in the corner. Ivar goes to the top, but Ginger sends Eric to the floor and rocks Ivar while he's up top. Ginger climbs up for a superplex to Ivar, and Cesaro joins him. Ginger and Cesaro try for a double superplex, but Ivar resists. Eric runs back in and turns it into a powerbomb, slamming Ivar. Cesaro and Ginger to the mat. We go back to commercial. Back from the break, and Humberto goes at it with Mansoor. Mansoor ducks a clothesline and tags in Cesaro, who knocks Ginger and Shanky off the apron. Then goes to work on Humberto in the corner, mounting him with right hands. Angel Garza gets knocked out by Cesaro to the floor. Cesaro with a Samoa drop to Mansoor. Ivar comes in, but Cesaro fights him and calls for a Cesaro swing to a big pop from fans and the Usos. Ginger stops the swing from happening and slams Cesaro with the Kalas to boots. Mansoor with a step up insecurity to Ginger to send him out to the floor. Shanky ragdolls Mansoor to the floor. Eric sends Shanky to the floor. Angel Garza and Humberto double super kick Ivar. Then nail a double suicide dive to Ginger and Cesaro on the floor. Ivar is all alone in the ring now. He runs He runs the ring for a big dive, but Los Adares cuts him off with a doubles dropkick. Ivar fights off a double team by Los Adares, now leaving Angel Garza with a big senton in the corner. The Viking Raiders then catches Humberto with the Viking experience in the middle of the ring for the pin to win. The winner of the match are your new number one contenders for the WWE Smackdown Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders. Decent fatal four-way. After the match, the Viking Raiders stands tall as their music is about his music, but the Usos interrupt from the announcer table. They talk some trash as Eric and Ivar stare them down from the ring. The two teams have words as the Usos music starts up now. Michael Cole sends us to this week's Progressive sponsor Match Flow. Replay looking back at last week's match between Naomi and Sonya Deville. The match between Naomi and WWE Smackdown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. I had to correct myself on that. That was a botch for me. I had to correct myself. Charlotte Flair. And Sonya Deville delivers involvement. Sonya Deville is backstage in her office now when Naomi walks in, Deville's comments on it being cold in the office, and Naomi says just cold like the Sonya Deville's heart. They have a few words, and Naomi knocks her from being such a liar. Naomi says toying with her is one thing, but she won't let it slide when Deville interferes in her career and mess up her title shot. Naomi threatens Sonya Deville, and Deville reminds her how she can't touch her when she has this suit on because that makes her Naomi boobs. Sonya Deville threatens her job and says Naomi shows up with main character vibes when everyone knows she's just an extra. Sonya Deville tells Naomi to keep her hands off her unless she wants to get fired or removed from the Royal Rumble or even fired. The choice is hers. Naomi says fine and walks off. Adam Pearce comes walking in and comment on how cold is in the office. Apparently the heat isn't working. Still to come is Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn's stunt segment. Garbage. Sami has vowed to Johnny Knoxville from back to commercial. Back from break, we get a Road to Royal Rumble video with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, looking at history between the two. Tonight's face-to-face segment will be sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. We go back to the ring and Sami Zayn is making his way down. He says the conspiracy against him has gone on for long enough. Too long, beginning with how he was robbed for the WWE Intercontinental title but finally he is getting back to where he retains the gold that belongs to him. Sami Zayn brings up Jack, you know what, star Johnny Knoxville, and shows us what happened between the two last week. Sammy says Johnny Knoxville is actually great because he is also officially entering the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn says Johnny Knoxville thinks he can do anything. Sami Zayn can, but he can't. Sami Zayn then says he can do whatever Johnny Knoxville can. And tonight he will show the world. Tonight he will show that to the world. Sami Zayn says everyone knows about Jack, you know what, but yes, ready for the most spectacular stunt show on TV. The first episode of Insane, an intro video plays for the show. We come back and Sami Zayn is at the top of the ramp, sitting down in a shopping cart. Like Jack, Jack, you know what Star used to do. The two assistants in all black are ready to push the cart down to the ramp. Sammy introduces himself and says he's going to jump this wrestling ring. There's a wooden ramp at ringside. Sami Zayn hesitates and counts to three, but then stalls. Sami Zayn wearing a bike helmet and gets ready to go again, and now he tells them to go full speed. They start pushing him down the entranceway, but tells them to stop before they get to the wooden ramp. Fans boo as Sami Zayn gets out of the cart and says he just wants to make sure it's safe. Sami Zayn says fans don't want to see him get hurt, right? Sami Zayn is way tougher than Johnny Knoxville, but he doesn't want to get hurt for nothing. Rick Boogs suddenly appears on the apron, and Sami Zayn is glad he's here. Sami Zayn says Rick Boogs can deliver a message to his friend, WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Sami Zayn goes on ranting until Shinsuke Nakamura appears behind him for a big pop from the crowd. Sami Zayn turns around to Nakamura, leveling him with the King Shaza to a bigger pop. Rick Boogs then praise Sami Zayn high in the air as fans cheer him on. Rick Boogs press Sami Zayn in the air and then launches him to the floor and into the crash pads that were on the other side of the ring for the shopping cart stunt. Nakamura music hits as he and Rick Boogs celebrated to end their segment. That segment itself was garbage. Garbage segment. Megan Moran is backstage with Aaliyah. She asks if Aaliyah is nervous to make her SmackDown singles debut tonight. Aaliyah says she is all nervous. She has dreamed about getting into the WWE ring since she was a little girl, and now she gets to do that against Natalya, who is a Triple Crown winner. Aaliyah hopes she puts on a good showing and doesn't embarrass herself. Natalya shows up to boos from the arena, and she's carrying a genius book of words of war records. Natalya says Aaliyah will do awesome, and there's no shame in losing to Natalya in her singles debut on SmackDown because she is the winningest woman in WWE history, and that's just one of her genuine world records. Aaliyah seems a bit excited and says she doesn't know the genuine book was a real thing. Natalya isn't impressed as Aaliyah hurries off. So we get Aaliyah versus Natalya. This match was garbage. We go back to the ring, and out first comes Aaliyah for her Blue Brand singles debut. She's not debuted. She's going to be wrestling. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Aaliyah is in the ring waiting for her opponent. Natalya is backstage with Moran again. She brags about her Guinness World Record and how important the book is. She says her third record symbolized the 14 years she dedicated to WWE. That's why she's a clear favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Natalya is now winning the Women's Royal Rumble. Natalya brags again about her three genius world record. Most match of any woman in WWE history. The most pay-per-view matches of any woman in WWE. And the most victories of any woman in WWE. Natalya says tonight she will set another record by beating the record for the fastest match for a woman in WWE history, which is 3.8. Natalya walks off and makes her entrance to the ring now. Natalya sets her genius book down in the corner and immediately attacks Aaliyah and beats her down before the bell. The referee warns her, but she continues the assault. Natalya unloads with stomps in the corner as the referee warns her. Natalya beats Aaliyah around the ring and the referee has no luck and restoring order. He finally gets Natalya off her and checks on Aaliyah. Aaliyah telling her to let him know if she's able to continue. The referee tells the ring announcer that Aaliyah cannot compete, but Aaliyah begs and pleads with him. The announcement is made, but then the referee changed his mind and Aaliyah is convinced him she can go. The bell rings and Aaliyah immediately rolls Natalya up for the quick pin to win in seconds. The winner of the match, Aaliyah. This match was garbage. After the match, Aaliyah celebrates as her music hits. She heads to the stage as shocked and disappointed. Natalya looks on from the ring. Urban announced that Aaliyah set a new WWE record for the fastest victory ever with 3 minutes and 17 seconds. We see Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage watching. They comment on how it's still cold in their office, and the thermostat and isn't working. All right, still to come. Lita is here. Back to commercial. We get another video package on the history between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Michael Cole is in the ring now. He gives a grand introduction to WWE Hall of Famer Lita, and how she comes to a big pop standing ovation from the crowd. Y'all should just let Lita come out there for herself without any introduction. And Showstopper TV mentioned it. Shouts to my boy Showstopper TV. The front row crowd does not know who Lita is. How does the front row crowd does not know who Lita is, but the back of the crowd knows who Lita is? But anyway, Michael Cole asks how it feels to be back in the WWE ring, and Lita says she is home. Fans chant her name, and she says it still gives her chills every time. Michael Cole mentions how Lita inspires so many current WWE superstars and asks why she's returning to the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Lita talks about how she had a wild ride and has so many career highlights. Lita says most days she is full satisfied with her career. Until recently, she has never got the chance to compete in the Royal Rumble because the Women's Royal Rumble wasn't a thing when she was around. Lita feels like she still has one more run in her, so she has a plan to mile through 29 other superstars with the Royal Rumble and then main event WrestleMania 38. Fans pop, but the music interrupts, and out comes WWE Smackdown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair to a mixed reaction. Charlotte Flair poses on the ramp as the pyro goes off. She enters the ring and takes the mic from Michael Cole, saying she got this and will interview Lita. Michael Cole exits the ring. Flair asks Lita how she's doing and cuts her off, and Lita looks to respond with saying she's not interested in Flair. Flair says she doesn't know it was Flashback Friday. She goes on about how she will win the Royal Rumble and pick her own opponent for WrestleMania 38. Flair says Lita's little run will come to an end when Flair eliminates her at the Royal Rumble. Flair asks Lita how she will handle a humiliation when she ends Lita's little comeback and crushes her WrestleMania dreams. Lita says she heard about this version of Flair and says she looked like Tanya Harding. Flair posts. Lita wonders how Flair will eliminate everyone when she has this big head, which makes it look like she about to tip over. Fans chant about Flair having a big head. Flair says she can hear them. Flair says it was funny from Lita brought up her best friend, WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. Flair goes on to brag about how she broke Trish Stratus, at SummerSlam 2019, forcing her to retire. Flair says that exactly what she will do to Lita at the Royal Rumble. Fans boo. Lita slaps Flair. Flair turns back to her, but Lita kicks her and drops her with a twist of fate for a big pop. Lita music hits and she posts in the corner as fans cheer her on. Flair crawls to get back to her feet as Lita makes her exit. This segment didn't even really do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? This segment didn't do nothing for none of us either. But anyway, I'm so happy to see Lita. That's all I gotta say. We see recent happenings in the Sheamus and Rick Hollins versus Cesaro and Ricochet feud, and how Hollins suffered a broken nose at WWE Day 1. Megan is backstage with Sheamus now. She says Hollins should be here tonight with him, but he's at home, and that's all Ricochet's fault. Sheamus goes on about getting payback for Hollins and says he will give Ricochet the beating of his lifetime tonight, and he will see how he likes it when he's the one leaving in the ring with a broken nose. So we get Sheamus versus Ricochet. All right, we go back to the ring, and out comes Sheamus for the next match. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Sheamus waits while Ricochet makes his way out. We get backstage promo with Ricochet talking about high risk and high rewards, and how rewarding it will be to break the nose of Sheamus like he did to Ridge Holland. The bell rings and they go at it, trading holds. Sheamus with a shoulder and more offense. They tangle again, and Ricochet fights out of a powerbomb attempt, sending Sheamus over the top rope to the floor. Ricochet rocks Sheamus and runs the ropes, nailing a big dive over the top to the floor for a pop. More back and forth action now. Sheamus ends up trying to pull Ricochet back to the floor, but Ricochet fights from the apron. Sheamus takes Ricochet's leg out, sending him to the ring. To the floor, from the apron. Sheamus has Ricochet down and under the bottom of the ring frame. He catapults Ricochet's throat under the frame, then poses and standing tall at ringside to boost from the crowd. We go back to commercial. Back from the break, and Sheamus is dominating in the ring, but Ricochet fights back and begins to mount offense. Ricochet with a big springboard crossbody and more offense. Ricochet sidesteps a bro kick, and Sheamus is hung up on the top rope now. Ricochet runs into a big right hand. Ricochet leaves Sheamus draped over the middle rope. Then nail a springboard lion saw for a close 2 count. Ricochet goes on and tries for the 450 splash, but Sheamus moves and he rolls through. Sheamus comes right back with the Irish curse backbreaker. Sheamus delivers 10 beats of the battery. Now then knocks Ricochet back in the ring. Sheamus falls for some moves from the crowd. Sheamus scoops Ricochet to his shoulders and takes him up top for a super white noise. But Ricochet slides out and kicks Sheamus several times in the face from the apron. Ricochet jumps back in from the apron and nails a big senton flip powerbomb, but Sheamus kicks out just in time. Ricochet scoops Sheamus. Ricochet scoops Sheamus on his shoulders, but Sheamus easily fights back off. Ricochet blocks the Alabama slam and rolls him for a 2. Then tango again, but Ricochet runs into a bro kick. Sheamus in the middle of the ring for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Sheamus. That's all I gotta say. After the match, Sheamus stands tall as his music hits. We go to replay. The Celtic Warrior stands tall and yells out to the crowd. We see what happened early between Aaliyah and Natalya. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee to announce. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee announced that Aaliyah has the fastest record and fastest victory in WWE history with 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville are backstage now. They're complaining about how hot is it in their office, and the thermostat is still not working. Adam Pearce is going to check with Miss Maintenance. Sonya Deville takes off her jacket and turns around to Naomi walking in. Naomi points out how Sonya Deville doesn't have her jacket, and so no jacket means no booze, right? Adam Pearce comes back in and stands between them. Naomi asks Adam Pearce to step aside because no one does anything about Sonya Deville abusing her power, and she deserves this beatdown. Pearce says Naomi is right about her complaint over Sonya Deville getting involved in last week's match with SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. He says Naomi deserves another shot, and Flair versus Naomi in a championship contenders match is announced for next week. Naomi has a few more words for Deville as she leaves the office. So we get Kofi Kingston versus Madcap Moss. This match was decent. Decent match, by the way. We go back to the ring, and out comes Kofi Kingston by himself as King Xavier Woods is injured. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get another Royal to Royal Rumble video looking at the history between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. We go back to the ring, and Kofi is reading a royal scroll from King Xavier Woods, announcing his calf injured and confirming he will miss the Royal Rumble match. It also announced that Kofi would enter the men's Royal Rumble. Fans pop into the music, into us, and out comes Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin. Corbin says he's happy because he's rich and good looking and made so much money on NFTs this week's that he brought a new 50,000 watch. The only thing that can make him happier is taunting Kobe at the Royal Rumble. Fans boos Corbin and Madcap Moss as they what was it? It says since destroying fans boo Corbin Moss and they laugh and enter the ring. Corbin says they haven't been this happy since they destroyed Drew McIntyre and injured his neck. They show us replay from the attack at WWE Day 1. Madcap Moss cracks a Pook Day joke on the New Day. Kofi starts on uncontrollably laughing, but stopped. He planned to drop a royal deuce on Moss' forehead. In this match, they have words and the bell rings. They go at it, but Moss scoops Kofi and runs him into the ropes and dumps him over the ropes. But Kofi counters and sends Moss flying to the floor. Kofi runs the ropes and leaps out, taking Moss and Corbin down at ringside. Kofi celebrates as we go back to break. Back from the break, and they still going at it as Corbin yells at ringside. Moss catches Kofi in a big fall away slam. Moss alone in the corner as the referee backs him off. Moss comes right back and stomps and punches on Kofi some more. Kofi finally fights back and mounts offense as fans rally for him. Kofi decks a clothesline attempt and drops Moss with a big right hand. Kofi taunts Moss, but squatting over his face for the Royal Deuce, but Moss rolls him, and Kofi comes back with a kick. Kofi with a boom drop in the middle of the ring now. Fans rally for Kofi. Corbin provides a distraction, and Kofi miss Trouble in Paradise. Moss and Kofi tangle until Kofi kicks him in the face. Kofi with a top rope crossbody, but Moss catches him, rolls through, and powers up, but Kofi gets free. They tangle again, and Moss blocks the SOS. Moss keeps going and drops Kofi with the punchline for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Madcap Moss. This match wasn't bad, but it was just decent for what it was, but I just don't care at the same time. After the match, Madcap Moss and Corbin celebrate as the music hits. Michael Cole sends us to a preview for next week's Raw with more Royal Rumble build. We go back to the ring for tonight's main event segment, and out comes Seth Rollins and mostly boos. We go back to commercial as Seth Rollins enters the ring and pose. Back from the break, and out comes the WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns by himself. Roman Reigns stops on the ramp and raises the strap in the air as the pyro goes off. Rollins watch from the ring as Roman Reigns marches in and raises the title to more pyro. Fans cheer the former member of the Shield meet in the middle of the ring. Roman Reigns says before Rollins says anything, he calls Omaha to acknowledge him. They respond with more mixed reactions. Seth Rollins says let's acknowledge that this is quite a moment, and he was thinking. Some fans chant for Rollins. Rollins offers his fist for the Shield, fist bump for no time sake. Roman Reigns isn't interested in some fans' boobs. Roman Reigns says that he's beneath him now. Seth Rollins says, "Well, then let's acknowledge the look on Roman Reigns' face when Rollins shows up in his office last week." Seth Rollins laughed and says it seems he's the last person on earth Reigns wanted to see, and why not? Because their track record in singles matches for their titles is one side. Rollins brags and says he won them all. So why would Roman Reigns want to see him? Roman Reigns laughed at Seth Rollins for coming out here and talking about the past. Roman Reigns says Seth Rollins must be sleeping under a rock because he's in God mode these days in the head of your table. The tribal chief to provider, the greatest of this generation, no questions asked. The greatest universal champion of all time. which makes him the greatest to ever do this. Seth Rollins says he didn't come out here to rant on Roman Reigns' parade. He came to acknowledge Roman Reigns and everything he's done. Seth Rollins just has one question: can Roman Reigns look himself in the mirror at night and says he accomplished that accomplished all that by himself? Seth Rollins says that the difference between them. Seth Rollins goes on about how he was climbing to the top while Reigns was riding the pine in the CFL, and now Rollins still had to hold Reigns' hand later on. Seth Rollins asked if Reigns understood the difference yet. Michael Cole says Seth Rollins is making good points. Seth Rollins says he created Reigns and can destroy him. Seth Rollins laughed at Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is a waste of his time. Reigns says he looked like and sounded like a clown, which he is a clown. Seth Rollins is a clown. And Roman Reigns says he looked and sounds like a clown because he is a clown. Facts by Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is a clown, and that's facts. And clearly he does not have the star power. Roman Reigns has and won't reach the level he reaches. So, Roman Reigns says if he was looking for a megastar, he would not have chosen Seth Rollins from Raw, or even choose Rollins from his own household. Roman Reigns says if he wanted to headline the Royal Rumble with a megastar, he wouldn't choose Seth Rollins' wife. Some fans chant on Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Now as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins face off in the middle of the ring. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos suddenly tried to attack Seth Rollins from behind, but Rollins decks and retreats to the floor and is standing on top of the announcer table now. The Usos come out to attack on the floor, but Seth Rollins sends one of them to the steel ring steps. He jumps back into the ring, briefly stares Roman Reigns down, but quickly retreats back to the floor as the Usos runs in after him. Seth Rollins quickly head up to the stage and laughs, ranting about how he created Reigns and will now destroy him. The bloodline looks on from the ring as SmackDown goes up there. This segment didn't do nothing. They ruined this segment because why was the Usos out there in the first place to begin with? But anyway, SmackDown was a 2 out of 10, but SmackDown was awful. Awful SmackDown, 2 out of 10. That's it. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed my WWE Smackdown review on highlights, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys thought of SmackDown. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Tap that notification every time I premiere a brand new video or when I'm going live on YouTube. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And I'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend. This your boy B-Boy Fact Channel TV. Have a great weekend. Stay safe and always stay positive. And I'm out of here.